Ugh. Oh, hey. Okay, so important note about this project. This is going to be a TIG welding helmet, and that's because it actually poses the least amount of risk. It is very important to note this. Fiberglass resin is sometimes flammable. I didn't know this before I started this project, so if you're deciding that you want to try this project out, I'd strongly recommend using a fire-resistant fiberglass resin. Fiberglass in itself isn't flammable, but the resin itself often is. So you can get fire-resistant and heat-resistant resins, but you have to look for those yourself. Just use common sense when dealing with this sort of thing, and do test runs and things as well. Make sure that whatever you're doing ends up being safe. Now, that's not saying that using this solely for TIG welding is going to be perfectly safe, and that's not saying that using this for MIG welding is going to outright kill you or catch your face on fire. Sometimes I don't know all of the details about these sorts of projects before I start, and that is why I have to do this. Okay, enjoy the video. G'day everybody, welcome back to another episode of Craft by Tim. So at work, I'm currently welding basically full time, which is great because it means I get a lot of practice welding, and I'm actually starting to get a lot better. But the problem is that I have to take my welding helmet to and from work all the time, which is a bit of a pain. So I wanted to take this welding helmet, which is a Weld Class. It's actually one that I got for free with the welder, and I wanted to take this and leave it at work so that I don't have to keep going back and forth. But that means that I have to have a welding helmet for home, because occasionally I come home and I'm like, I still want to do some welding because I'm crazy. But rather than going out and spending $230 to buy a pretty decent full-size welding helmet, you know what? I'm gonna spend like maybe $300 and make my own. Welcome to making a custom welding helmet part 2. What if I just took this mask and covered it in a sheet of fiberglass? You just need to have the right know-how. And funnily enough, there's two places that you can get free knowledge. First of all, you can ask people for advice. But the second place that you can get a lot of knowledge, and I'd strongly recommend you do this after finishing this video because you'll be able to pick up all the mistakes that I make. One that I overlook quite often, it's YouTube. Fiberglass is actually a pretty easy material to work with. You just have to have the basics down. So now all we have to do is cut out our required amount of fiberglass matting, and then we'll mix up enough fiberglass resin and catalyst. Wrong kind of catalyst. And then we'll just lay it over. Make sure that you wear your breathing protection. Do this in a well-ventilated area. Now to try and pull this off the cardboard and hopefully the helmet, and if this doesn't go well, then I guess I'm going to buy a new helmet because I'm going to need a new helmet for Monday. Now, one of the main problems that I'm going to experience is the fact that I use masking tape for this, which I only recently thought about this last night. The masking tape itself probably going to remain stuck to the inside of this helmet, which would matter if this is meant to be like a see-through thing, but we actually want to block out the UV light, so it'll probably give us a little bit of extra UV protection, and it won't be seen because this will be painted anyway. Hell yes. I'm going to put this back in like so, and we're going to mark out all of the things that we need for the headgear, all the holes, the visor, and also perimeter right around the edge there. it works. The next step is going to be insert the lenses. Now you may be wondering about these holes on the side. I'm going to talk more about that later on in the project. First thing that we have to do is get the lenses in here. We have our welding helmet pretty much ready to be painted now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a hydro dip for this, which I haven't done for a while. Hydro dipping is a lot of fun, and I also haven't done a video on it. If you want to learn more about what hydro dipping is, I'm going to do a separate video of this because this video is probably going to already be pretty long. There'll be a second video, it'll be also uploaded today, but I'll be going through each of the steps individually. But the process itself is actually pretty basic, so let's jump into that. Alright, now that this thing is back from its home hydro dip, and it looks absolutely sick. This thing looks amazing. Originally I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna look like a Damascus sort of feather pattern almost. Maybe a little bit of marbling. And yeah, you can definitely sort of feel that marbling coming through it. But I reckon the best way to describe this is a smoky space. And it definitely looks a bit like that. Just absolutely amazing. Very, very happy with the way that that's come out. So now let's jump into the rest of it. And I think to begin with, we should probably just finish off by doing the electronics on this. Now I know that some people are going to turn around and be like, hey, this isn't an ad flow, why are you doing this? This is stupid. Stop. Okay, the point of this project wasn't to create an ad flow or do anything like that. Actually, it kind of is, because it does follow the same process as an ad flow, except without the filtration process. Just to create a little bit of air movement so that I don't sweat myself to death inside the workshop during summer, because it does get kind of hot in here. The whole idea of this project was to create a welding helmet and then throw in some extra little features that might make it a little bit more user-friendly. Point is, I'm not trying to make an ad flow, and I will be the first person to recommend that you go and get an ad flow. We just got ad flows in at work, and I think they're great, which also makes this entire project redundant. But that's not the point. The point is that this project doesn't have a point. Okay, bye. Well, I can't be much more happy with the way this actually turned out. The outside looks super amazing and professional. I love the paint job, like the smoky, starry sort of finish on it. It's just so amazing. I mean, the inside still looks like a bomb, but the outside looks really, really nice. Now all I have to do is get a new lens, because the lens broke. Surprise, surprise, what do you expect when you buy stuff for cheap on eBay? And I also have to find a power bank that's actually going to be small enough to actually fit on the inside of the helmet, because up until now I was using this one, which I actually use for my camera. It works, but you'd probably just want to run a USB extension cable to the power bank and then shove this in your back pocket or something. I know nothing about fiberglass. I know next to nothing about electronics. Pretty happy with this. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you haven't yet seen how I did the paint job on this, like the proper full video on hydro dipping, please check it out. I'll probably do more hydro dipping in the future because it is a lot of fun and it is really easy as well. So you can check that out. There'll be a link in either the description or at the end of this video. And I'll catch you sometime before Christmas, hopefully, for another exciting episode of God knows what. In the meantime, do remember to stay safe, happy crafting, and as always, cheers.